Hi, everyone. Welcome back to Shifting Perspectives, the Baja Beach Wellness Diaries. I am your host, Wendy. Today, we are joined by Angela and Amy. And we have a special guest, Amy Ames. Amy comes to us from Grace and Grit Beyond Beauty Boutique in West Reading. Amy has taken, we all talk about the fact that wellness and beauty comes from within. But we all know in the beauty industry, it also comes from the outside. You know, our confidence comes from the way we look. That gives us the way we feel and the way we present ourselves and our confidence on the outside. And Amy's boutique specializes in people coming across from hair loss. In her own personal experience, wigs, toppers. So tell us more about that.
Thank you. Thank you guys for having me. I'm
happy.
So basically, you're exactly right. Like, what we're doing at Grace and Grit is we're making their insides match their outsides, right? Or their outsides match their insides, however you want to look at it. Because as women, when we lose our hair, at least in my experience, and I can safely say on my clients' experiences, it's been traumatizing. It's very isolating. It's something I don't wish on anyone, but when you're doing it alone, because there aren't very many places like what we've created, if you're doing it by yourself, it's sad, it's vulnerable, it's debilitating in some cases. I have some women that tell me they've been watching me for over 6 months and they've just been so afraid to pick up the phone and call because they don't believe that it'll work for them. Or the other side of it is they say, when I call, that means I'm admitting that I have to wear a wig. And I say to them, what's wrong with wearing a wig? This is a wig. I wear wigs every single day. And I think that the word wig has this enormous, awful stigma with it because you say wig and you think of like your nanas back in the 20s and, you know, beyond, and big old helmet heads and the little back combing, the permatease that's stuck in that wig. And that's not what this is about. I mean, I do sell higher end synthetics for the ladies that feel like that's all they're willing to do at the moment. Because maybe they just want to get used to wearing a wig first. But then we have our luxury line, which is the new Grace and Grit all human hair wigs. We do a light density so that we can all pull it off, okay? And that's why Meg here didn't even know I had a wig on when I came in. I took it off to prove it.
It is. Every time I've ever seen you, I'm always jealous of your hair. And I'm like, wow, she has great hair.
But you could have it too.
Exactly.
Yeah, it truly is amazing. So, you know, human hair wig, like talk to us about the differences and what you can do with that.
Sure, absolutely. So a synthetic wig is made out of plastic, and then plastic is covered with silicone. So whenever that wig fiber touches your neck, your clothing, anything, the silicone is wearing off. Even when you're combing it, you're putting your fingers through it, whatever. So a silicone wig is not going to last you nearly as long as a human hair wig. If you're working with a silicone wig that comes down, not silicone, I'm sorry, a synthetic, thank you. So a synthetic wig, though, if it touches your collar, it's going to rub the silicone off. And then what happens is it turns to that Barbie hair where the plastic pieces are just left sticking together. Okay. I mean, I think I had Barbies with better hair back in the day. It's just the nature of the beast. So even when I say, well, I have high-end ones, well, my high-end ones, they're still going to do the same at the end of the day. It's just you're going to have a better hairline, so people won't notice that it is a wig versus a human hair wig. Now, ours are completely Remy hair, which is important to know, and it's 100% human hair. The wig industry is not regulated, which is frightening.
Yes.
Which is where I, in my beginning of the journey, spent a lot of money and wasted a lot of time. And it really was like a soul crusher because you would put the money out and then you would wait, 8-10 weeks for it to come. And you'd be like, oh, you got the notice that it's going to show up and so excited. And then you'd open the box and be like, wah, wah. And then it would cost between $300 and $400 to send it back because there's a restock fee and the insurance and everything like that. It was ridiculous. So we, my husband and I together, and I say this because he put up with it all. Let's face it, it was rough. But he put up with it all, and he was like, "Oh, those wigs look great," So I just researched and researched and researched. And then I started calling the women boutique owners and asking them the questions because no one in this area could answer the questions that I had for them. And so I was just like, all right, let me figure it out. I figured it out. And now we have our own human hairline. The reason why you want to know that it's Remy hair is because the strand of hair has cuticles on it. The cuticles all face one direction, like shingles on a roof. If you have non-Remy hair, that means that the shingles are going the opposite way. So now you have Remy hair, so shingles down, and non-Remy hair, shingles up, and now they're pushing together, and it's going to cause a rat's nest on the back of your head. One reason to get human hair is to avoid that rat's nest and the tangle, because you will get that with a synthetic.
Okay. So good to know.
I really went off there, so I don't know.
We want to know all the things.
Oh, gosh. Now, you said like longevity.
Yes.
Like, what are you talking as far as time-wise with the synthetic and the human hair?
Yeah, the synthetic is always 3 to 6 months if you're wearing it every day.
Okay.
And a human hair wig is 3 to 5 years with proper hair.
That's a huge difference.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And like the expenses, the price is different, okay, between the synthetic and the human. But when you multiply out how frequently you'd have to be replacing that $400 synthetic wig, versus just paying up front for the human hair wig and never having to worry about it, it's just a no-brainer.
Now, is there a difference in what you can do in your daily life between the two wigs? Can you swim in? Can you?
Yes. Earring. Sorry. I was like, that's mine. Yeah. Yes. So a synthetic wig, first of all, as far as a pool, I don't recommend wearing wigs in pools.
Okay.
But if you're going to, a synthetic would be better because it's not as expensive.
Gotcha.
So I tell ladies, look, we can look cute in the pool still. Just don't go underwater with your hair on, If you're going underwater, go put on a bathing cap,
right?
And do it that way. What was your question though? It was, what else can you do?
Right.
So a synthetic wig, one pro to that is if you buy a synthetic wig with beach waves in it, once you wash it, the beach waves come right back. When you are dealing with human hair, so when I wash this gal, she will fall straight. She'll dry straight, okay? So then I either have to take like a hot comb or something through it, or I just add the curls. Now these curls will stay. I don't have to touch up the curls in between washes. I'm only washing every 14 to 21 wears.
Okay.
So it's not like it's this horrible hardship. And that is one thing some women get confused about. They'll say like, well, I don't want to have to do my hair. I don't want to do it every day. Well, I don't either. And I don't. It takes me 30 seconds to walk out the door.
You're awesome. Like Jane Jetson.
Woo! Yeah. I wish I had one of those machines.
Yeah, right?
One of those machines.
And that was going to be my other question. Like, can you wash it if you want to restyle it? And, like today I want to be straight, tomorrow I want to curl or whatever.
Yep, okay. Absolutely. Now you have to use the right products. So you cannot cheap out on thermal spray when it comes to a human hair wig.
Okay.
So you, I could straighten it in between. What I tell my ladies is, look, if you want to be curly until your wash. And then when you wash it, go ahead and flat iron it the next time. Just because the less amount of heat that you have to put on one of these items is the best for the wig. It's going to last you a whole lot longer. So if I need to touch up a curl, because this will just fall to like a pretty wave till the end of it, but say I have a big event and I want to look cute, I will just touch up the ends and recurl the ends on it, but add the thermal spray first.
Okay.
So, and the big deal with human hair wigs is that you want to make sure, because these are hand tied. Mine are always hand tied, at least on the top part. The one I have on right now is fully hand tied, but that means that when I say hand tied, I literally mean they're like pulling the hair through, knotting it off. So you have to protect the knots. And that's something I'm thinking about making into a drinking game at my shop, because I say the word knots so frequently that I make myself sick. But it's an investment. That is an investment. And I want that investment to last as long as possible for these ladies.
Right.
They've already been through it. By the time they come to me, more than likely, they have gone through 100 wigs. Not really, but like 20 wigs, you know, like just struggling. I had one lady that messaged me the other day. I'm going to make it a Facebook post. She took all of her wigs out of the closet, set them on like a bed or something. There must have been like 20 of them. And she snapped the picture and goes, here are all of these. That's not counting all the ones I've thrown away in the past 5 years.
Wow.
Well, when you sit and add all of that up, now she has a human hair wig. And let me tell you, she is remarkable. She's a single young mama, has had it rough, and medical conditions. And she has messaged me so many times since getting this wig. And she tells me things like, oh my God, I'm not the different looking one at my son's PTA meetings and at his plays, and people aren't staring at me like, oh, she must have cancer. Guess what? Women that do have cancer don't want you to know that they have cancer in most cases, which is, again, an argument for let's not put a synthetic wig on someone that's going through cancer treatment.
Right.
Let's get them a human hair wig if at all possible. And ideally, those women will grow their hair back. That's what I always hope for, that they're going to grow their hair back. It's going to come in normal, even better than what it used to be, right? If that happens, we've implemented a Gently Loved program at Grace and Grit. So you take the wig, you get through treatment, you come out on the other side, your hair is great. Your hair's not going to grow instantly, so you're going to still wear it while it's growing out. It's not going to prevent it from growing out, because we're not bonding it to our heads. We're taking it off every night. If you're not leaving the house, you're not putting it on, you know. So those women, and there goes my brain again.
It's all of us today. Something's in the water today. The gently used.
The gently loved.
Yes,
Gently loved.
Yes.
So now they're finished with it. They grew it out. They bring it in. I inspect it, wash it, do all the things. If it's not losing hair and it's in great shape, now they can consign it in my shop. So the next lady sitting in the chair will get a better deal because she's buying a Gently Loved. And the woman that no longer needs that wig will get some of the money back at least, you know.
That's wonderful.
Because she's not going to need it. And I can't stand the thought of a good human hair wig sitting in a box forever.
Right.
Like, for what?
Right.
Why would you do that? Mm-hmm. So, yeah, they're all told in the beginning that you can just bring it back. Now, we can't return wigs once they leave. And if you didn't take care of it, which, by the way, I teach them everything. But if they didn't take care of it and it doesn't pass the inspection, it won't make it to the shelf. That's just the quality measure that I have in place.
Right. That's good to know.
So
that's awesome.
That's great. So you were talking earlier before we started the podcast about a hairband. Like how does it affect to your hair? That you were saying you can bend over, it makes a huge difference.
Yeah. Oh my God. It makes an enormous difference. Knowing the foundation, having a good foundation is key for everything, right? You know, so having that foundation is so important. It took me a while to figure it out because I always saw like wig caps and these velvet bands, but a lot of times those will just pop right up off your head. So this one, it is velvet, but it has a little bit of lace across the front, and that lace holds it onto my forehead with no glue, no tape, nothing like that. It's just Velcroed in the back. So it's not doing any damage to my natural hair. And then I don't clip it or glue it, and I can just flip my head upside down. You can look at my social media. I look like an idiot. I do it all the time because women are afraid it's going to fall off.
Yeah.
Like, that would be mortifying. And no, you don't have to worry it's going to fall off. One of my clients is a 15-year-old competitive cheerleader.
Oh, wow.
And she picked a 24-inch wig, which is very long and heavy because the length makes it heavier. And she has to wear it up, and she does all of the somersaults and does all of the tumbling.
Wow.
And it's fine.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
So, you know, we're talking about, we'll get into the emotional side of this too,
boy.
But, you know, as far as like we talked about the full wigs, but what about the toppers? Like what what would people go through that they were looking for that? Just like your thinning hair?
Yeah, no. Typically,
what is a top?
Like, what exactly? What exactly is
what is
that?
a top?
Well, I think that's a different show.
Of course, you take it there.
I picked up on it. A topper, or alias torture device, in my opinion.
Okay.
It's not meant for everybody. And honestly, toppers are not meant for most of the women that I'm seeing, because we're already to the point of thinning, or the hair follicles are just real fragile. So, but what a topper does is, if you have a good head of hair, you, Wendy, have a great head of hair. Sure, if you want a little bit more volume, I don't think you do, we're going to snap that on and you can wear that. Okay. But if you have fine hair, I don't recommend it, because you're clipping in, and you actually have to take that clip and kind of wiggle it around, grab that baby hair, push down. Otherwise, your topper's going to be sliding back and forth on your head. A topper also has to be blended in with your natural hair. So if you have naturally curly hair, you've now either have to commit to flat ironing your hair and hoping that it doesn't spring back up throughout the day, or you have to get a topper that's curly and then hope that that curl pattern matches yours. So they're a little bit more, it's more of a pain. It is how I started out my journey. That's why I call it a torture device, because that 3-letter word wig was not something I was going to do in my 40s. I'm like, absolutely not. This is horrifying. So I did toppers, and I ended up with traction alopecia from them. So everywhere there's either like between 6 and 8 combs, and they're pressurized combs on the top of each topper, like underneath, to clip it on. And so I ended up with traction alopecia in most of those places, from those clips pulling my hair out, which is why I always stress, look, ladies, we're not going to even clip that wig in. This wig does have 2 of those pressurized clips on the sides, right at the ear tabs, but I don't ever clip it to my hair. It's just setting on top of my band at this point. If the wig, as it stretches over time, they will, then I might take that comb and just kind of tuck it underneath my band. But again, it's never being snapped into my hair. So, hopefully that answered that.
Definitely. So, do you guys have any questions about the wigs themselves or anything before we get into the rest of it?
I'm curious about the emotional side of it. Just because this sounds so rewarding for you and what you are doing for women and their confidence and being sometimes that missing piece, especially with, if they are post-cancer or post, or have medical conditions. What you do sounds amazing.
It is. And it is really the most rewarding thing that I think I've ever done with my life. And I don't know if that's because I went through it too. So I know how they're feeling. And I think that they are just happy to meet somebody else who is struggling, but also thriving, because this doesn't stop me. This does not stop me. I wore wigs for between 4 and 5 years before telling anyone. Like my mother knew, and like my family members knew, but that was it. And then I made an announcement at a networking event I was at with 50 beautiful women sitting in the room, and I just stood up and I said, hey, I'm Amy. I lost 103 pounds. Y'all know that, though. What you don't know is I've been wearing a wig this entire time. And the room went, and all the oxygen came out. And I was just like, oh. And ladies, I did not plan on saying that. I did not ever plan on telling anyone. It wasn't in my head to do it. But there was a woman in the back of the room who had more scalp showing than hair. And she was also unhealthy weight. And when I looked at that, and in that second, I thought, I wouldn't be in this room if it wasn't for my weight loss. And if it wasn't for my wig, I wouldn't be standing in this room with all of these amazing women business owners. So how dare I keep this a secret? I'm willing to tell you I weighed 103 pounds more. You can do the math, right? So I'm willing to tell you that, but I'm not willing to tell you I have a wig on. It just didn't make sense. And in that moment, it just came out. And I said, oh, I must be good at it. Maybe I'll teach you all how to do it too. And at the end of the meeting, that lady came up to me and said, can you please help me with my hair loss? I've tried in the past I've been this way since I was in my teens, and I just don't know what to do. And I was like, yeah, absolutely. And she became my first client.
Wow.
Yeah. Within 3 months of me coming out, I had my own space. I was like, no, this is what I'm supposed to be doing.
That's awesome. And I think that's one of the reasons we started this podcast is because, you know, there's so many things that people go through in life that they don't talk about. And for you to even know that one person has gone through that situation, it just makes you feel a little bit less alone.
Absolutely.
Definitely.
Absolutely. Yeah. And the ladies coming in, they'll tell me things like, well, I don't have any pictures with my grandchildren because I don't want to be in the pictures.
Wow.
Oh my gosh. Okay. So now, you know, so you're dealing with that. Like each person has their own story and what has brought them into me at that point in time. This summer, which I don't recommend this, but this summer people waited till the last minute and then they came in because their sons were getting married, their daughters were getting married. Luckily, we were able to accommodate all of those women in the short period of time we had. But if you're thinking about a wig for a special event, you really should be coming at least 2 months ahead of time. Just because we may need to custom order it in. Depending on your head size, I might have to custom make the cap or have it made for them. And that can take some time. So, but I partner with, I collab with Diane at Thanks Hair Artistry. She has a wig boutique there meant for cancer patients. And so she does sell the synthetic wigs. And she does get referrals from a nonprofit of some sort. I think Brooks,
breast cancer
support service. Thank you. Yes. They work with Diane all the time. And I'm one of those ladies that I know that there are enough people for all of us. So I didn't care that she does the same thing as I do. So I went, I picked her brain, and lo and behold, now we collaborate. And so I order the wigs in, and then she will do all of the customization that I need to them. And the great part of this is that the ladies coming in, they're getting the wigs exactly. I mean, I can match your current hairstyle if you want, the color, everything. You're getting exactly what they want. I teach them everything once it comes in because it is a lot to learn, you know, but once you learn it, that's it. It's easy peasy. But then they go over to Diane and they get this wig cut on their face, on their head, like, I didn't mean on their face. I meant on their head, around their face, so that the face framing layers hit them the right way. Or if they want to bang, you know, Diane will take her time and she'll just walk them through and say, okay, you really want to bang? Because once I cut, that's it. And so, you know, maybe it'll end up a curtain bang, and then slowly they can graduate into the full bang if that's what they really want. But yeah, so the ladies are just, it makes me cry frequently. I bet hearing their journeys and then seeing what they're doing after, like watching them thrive. The girl I was speaking about, I just looked at her social this morning, and here she was saying, starting my holiday traditions all over again, feeling like me. And there her and her son are at like a Bass Pro Shop or something, you know, and I'm like, that might not have happened had it not been for this wig, you know? And she just hated the synthetics. They don't look real. Right. They just don't look real. And her medical condition, she will be bald forever. You know, it's just a way of life for her. Yeah. Some of us lose it and we hope that we'll get it back. And some of us lose it and we just know that's it. I'm done. Yeah. So, and I will never go back to not wearing a wig. Never. Yeah. Why would I? Right. So easy.
Yeah. And it is, you know, when you look in the mirror, you know, if you think you look good, that gives you that confidence. And you know, when you step out and you feel good, you're going to just hold your head higher and you're just going to portray yourself better
and make a difference to those around me. If I'm constantly thinking about what does my hair, like, it's not vanity. It is simply not vanity. It is all about like how I'm feeling in this moment. I feel insecure. I feel scared. I feel vulnerable. All of the sad kind of lonely emotions you're sort of feeling. And maybe this isn't for everybody, but the women that I work with and myself, that's a true statement. And so how was I showing up for everybody else in my world it wasn't very well. I will admit that. I was miserable. I was constantly thinking about my hair and my weight. And then I took care of the weight problem. And then it was, okay, now what about my hair? Oh my gosh, what about my hair? And so just figuring this out and being able to share it with everybody it's overwhelming at times. I'm so thankful for my ladies, but I don't know if this sounds weird, but I try not to let that sink in too much because I will cry, or I feel like it might change the way I come into the next appointment. And so I don't want to change. I just want to be like, I'm helping you and this is great. This was the whole reason for the business, was just to help women. So on that same note, the first year I was in business, because I've been in business over a year now, we did women-owned pop-ups in the store so that small business owners from our area, women-owned businesses, were able to be featured and get a little bit more attention, because luckily I have the store on Penn Avenue in West Reading. And so, they got a lot of headway. We had charm bars, and we had House of Color West Reading come in one time and do like, pick your best lip shade, just something simple and easy, but it exposed their businesses so that if women were interested, now they're meeting the owner, and now they'll get to either book their own charm bar party, or they get to go in for the color analysis and things like that. So
I love that. That's great.
Yeah. I know you said prior to going on that you were in permanent makeup.
Yes.
Have you always been in like the image industry? No. What did you do prior?
Oh my God, human resources.
Well, you know what? Because I'm sitting here and I think it's so great that it's never you're. I don't want to say it the wrong way, but you can still find your passion no matter what stage of life that you're in.
Yes,
and you can definitely tell you're passionate about this. So that is so cool.
Yeah,
that's so cool.
I'm telling you, it's the best job ever. It is stressful. Don't get me wrong. I never thought I would own a business. I never thought I'd be on Penn. Like, there were all of these things that just lined up perfectly for that all to happen. And for me to even say it out loud in front of other women, it was crazy.
Yeah.
I drove home that day. I was in Lancaster, and I was driving home, and I called my husband. I said, I know what I want to do when I grow up. And he's like, what? And I said, you know what it is? I'm going to open up some sort of a wig boutique. And I said, but not the kind where it feels like women are forced to buy something like a used car salesman. I don't want to do that. I'm going to give them all of the education and the services that they need so that they're equipped to make the right decision. And I'll also have product here, so if they choose to move forward with the wig, they can get it here. And his response was, Amy, doesn't that mean you have to tell people you wear wigs? And I said, oh, cat's out of the bag, baby. You're not putting me back in the closet.
I love that. Isn't it so funny how just life just takes you where you're supposed to go? It really
incredible.
Is. Yeah.
It's been incredible.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So what else does your boutique have besides?
We have some small business owners in there. So we have Blissfully Cozy. So we have really cute, like simmer pot type things, all chemical free, room fragrance sprays, things like that. We also have Polka Dot Pendant, who does a lot of handmade jewelry. Okay. So she's in there. She's been around for a while, popular on the Avenue. Then we feature Urban Southern, which this company.
I saw your bag and I'm dying to get out to
my God. It is so good. You come to my store. You don't have to go there.
Well, and that's where they're out of, right?
They're out of Lancaster.
That's cool. Yeah.
Yeah. They're right on the other side of Berks County. Mm-hmm. And it's a 3rd generation leather craftsman who now makes bags, because I think his wife designs them, and then he and his wife make these bags. You can go into their store and see them like sewing.
Oh, that's cool.
Oh my gosh, the detail is unbelievable. And these are bags that you will hand down to grandchildren. Mm-hmm. Like, they will not go bad. It's full grain leather. Wow. So that's one of the bigger stores that I work with in there that I just love them so much.
They're cool stuff. Yeah.
It's amazing. Yeah. And like, if you're going to spend that on a Coach bag, here's something I learned. Genuine leather. Hopefully this is right now that I'm putting it out here, but genuine leather has a certain percentage of plastic in it. And I didn't know that was
Interesting.
Yeah. And then the manager from Urban Southern, when I said, so these are genuine leathers, she went, no, these are full grain leather. I said, oh, and she's like, the difference is this is straight like cowhide, and it does come from the food industry. So no one has died to be a purse. But so it's full grain leather. It's just the hide, and then they tan it, and then they make the purses. Whereas with Coach and all the ones that are put into different colors and things like that, those actually have plastic inside them. So mixed in with the leather.
Interesting. Very interesting.
Everything is plastic, and I feel like the air we breathe probably
probably does. Yeah.
Chemicals in it.
Definitely.
It really does.
So what's next for you? Is there any plans to expand? Anything else you have coming down the line?
I think that come the new year, we're going to be in for a lot of fun changes.
Okay.
And I've listened to the women that have been sitting in my chair and what they're needing next, when they rediscover themselves and they're starting to feel really good again. They have questions like, what do I do for makeup? And where do I get my clothes? And a lot of ladies are losing hair because of rapid weight loss. And so the injectables can sometimes do that. So now I've got women that are shrinking in size, no longer know how to dress for their body type, which I remember being that person. Because I'm like, what do you mean I can walk into Ann Taylor and grab anything? Yeah. What do you mean I can go to any store and just grab a pair of pants? It's crazy. So it takes a long time for your brain to catch up to what you actually look like. But I want to help those women. I want to boost them. And a lot of them will say, my God, the confidence, it just rubs off on me. And I'm like, it's you. You had it. You had it all along. Yeah. You're just with somebody that knows that there is another side to hair loss and that you can look and feel great and do everything you want to do. So it's amazing. Oh, and for the sessions, I take my wig off most of the time. So you'll see me out on Penn Avenue with no wig on because my clients have theirs on and we're out there for the best lighting and, making sure the color's right. And there I am in my band. Whatever. So
what can somebody expect if they book an appointment with you? How does that usually, your consultation process go?
Thank you for asking that. And this is where I would like to streamline it a little bit better. I thought it was, but the way you come in with me is that you do a discovery call first. So you can go on to the website, graceandgritbeyondbeauty.com. You can go on there and hit book now. And that's going to take you just to a virtual session. It's a 15 to 20 minute complimentary session where I meet with the woman. I love to send it on Zoom or even if we have to FaceTime, whatever. But just being able to see them and they get to see me, because not everybody's on social media. Not everybody's watching what's going on. So being able to see each other is important. I whip my wig off during those sessions too, in most cases. And then when they tell me, well, I just need a little topper, I get to say, not that I get to say, but I get to crush their dreams. I say, no, a topper is not it. Yeah. Well, I do tell them, look, it's always up to you, but I do not recommend a topper for you. And then they want to know why. And because I can see their thinning, where the thinning is happening, I can explain it in terms that they understand. And then it's like, well, then they want to know about the wig and is that going to hurt their hair growth? Because a lot of them are convinced, and it might work, Nutrafol, minoxidil, whatever their body is missing, they're putting it in, they're going to stimulate that hair growth again. However, it's my understanding, as soon as you stop putting those products in, then that hair that you regrew will fall out. And so some of them are doing like the Nutrafol while they're wearing wigs right now, and they're trying to get their hair to grow back in and hoping that it's going to work. And that's fine because the wig's not going to stop it from growing back in. And it's not like it's going to grow back in and be shoulder length overnight. You're still going to need something to transition. So just got to answer that.
Yeah. I love that there's the connection there, especially for something so important like what you do. Yeah. You need that connection.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. It's a game changer. Mm-hmm. It's a game changer. We built everything that I wish I would have had when I first started. Like not just a place to go buy a wig, not just a place where somebody can sell me a brand name that they are used to working with. I wanted a place where someone can answer all of my questions about what is Remy hair versus non-Remy hair. Why do I want a lace top? Why do I want a partial lace top? And then what, like all of the questions, like there's a lot to learn, and you gotta feel confident in it. So I think because I've experienced it, I get where they're coming from, so I can relate to them on that level, but then also bring them back up with me and get them to realize I don't even think about my hair. I just don't. It's not something I think about. I talk about it all the time, but I don't think about it when I'm putting it on in the morning or anything like that.
Well, somebody that's going through all that, they don't even know what questions to ask.
Correct.
You know,
right.
And they haven't experienced this yet. So you can tell them the answers to the questions they don't even know that
exactly.
They have. Yeah.
Girls, I got a lot of ladies in their 40s and 50s because of the M word.
Yeah.
And a lot of ladies in their 40s and 50s are starting to date again. They're going through divorces and they're dating. So guess what kinds of questions I get to answer?
Interesting questions.
Oh, we have a good time.
Yeah.
We definitely have a good time in my shop.
How do I keep this on top of my head?
And I say, well, you're doing it wrong. I have to say there are different ways.
I have to adjust some things.
Yes. Change is good. So, yeah.
So for women listening now that might be dealing with hair loss or just kind of starting, to notice some thinning or just feeling kind of lost with everything, what is the message you wish for them to hear that you would have looked for when you went through your time?
It's going to be okay. It's going to be okay. We're going to get you through it. We're going to adjust and adapt. And that's what you have to do with life, right? We flip, adjust, adapt. And so that's what you're doing here. You're just learning a different way of revitalizing yourself, and getting yourself back to your family and friends and showing up like you should. So all you have to do is go on Grace and Grit, beyondbeauty.com, click that button for the discovery call. We will sit and chat through video if possible, otherwise phone call. And you will learn everything you need to know as well as all the pricing, because I don't want someone coming in, sitting in the chair, falling in love, and then learning about the price and they just can't do it. So we cover all of that so that there are no surprises. It's nerve-wracking enough just to come in. I mean, women will come in trembling.
Right.
Women will come in. I have one lady, she came in trembling, even though she was recommended by someone that had already experienced it. She told me, I'm so afraid to give you this check. And I said, why? And she's like, well, because I've wasted so much money. Like, she had just bought a $1,500 wig that is from a big box name brand, and it's not good quality at all. And so she's like, what am I going to do with that $1,500 wig? And unfortunately, I can't consign that, because who's going to buy that when right next to it hangs one of the Grace and Grit wigs? They're just not. So they're really nervous, because it's a financial hardship, so once they get talking, though, once I take that wig off, I broke the ice. And we figure it out. There's always payment plans and things like that we can do to help them. So,
or there's a will, there's a way.
Definitely, yes.
Yeah, especially when it comes to beauty things.
Oh my gosh.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Because it is trickle down. Like we were speaking before we started, the more you feel confident you feel about yourself, the more you're going to start taking care of yourself, and the better you can be for everybody in your life.
Right. You cannot pour from a cup that isn't full. And, I did bully a lady. I made her come in. She was the grandma that didn't have any kids, pictures with her grandchildren. And I'm like, no, we're not. This was last year around this time. And she said to me, she called to cancel the appointment. I said, what are you doing? I met with you and your two daughters. Why are you doing this? Oh, I want to spend the money on the grandkids for Christmas, and I'll come in after. And I said, you know what? No, you're going to come in. because your grandbabies want pictures of you. That's what matters more than the Amazon gift card, right? So that's what's going to matter more. So just come on in. I won't charge you anything. If you don't buy anything, just come in. Came in. It took quite a few tries with the different wigs, which is totally fine. And I kept saying to her adult children, when she has it on, we're all going to know. When she has it on, we're all going to know. And this is someone who didn't even look in the mirror at herself. She got the wig on and she just, she just like sprung to life. And she was like, oh, take my picture. Look, this is someone who was yelling at her daughters through the session saying, no, don't take my picture. Oh. Like she's very, very self-conscious. And then she's like, take my picture. I said, do you want your picture in front of the Grace and Grit sign? It's like one of these things we do. And she's like, yeah. And her daughters were like, what? I said, I told you. We would all know when she found her wig. Because it's the wig that looks like her. Right. And then one of the daughters said, Mom, I haven't seen you like that since you were in your 50s, you know. And she's like, yeah, well, this is me. And I'm like, that's you, honey. That's you.
That's amazing.
Yeah. That makes me emotional.
Oh,
that's great. I love that.
Thanks.
That. No, I can tell that you are just, you're genuine and you connect and just make these people feel like they're supposed to feel.
I hope so.
I love that.
That's my goal.
Somebody always cries.
Somebody always cries. I love that.
Stay away from my social media.
You're definitely doing what you're meant to do.
Thank you. I feel it. I literally feel like the whole universe like lined up, and that's what made me say it that day in front of all of those women, because I did not ever think I'd be telling people about wearing a wig. I was praying against hope that my hair would come back. I wasn't going to tell anybody. Yeah. And now I don't care.
It's like that quote, don't ask what the world needs, ask what makes you feel most alive, because the world needs more people that are alive.
Yeah, well, I'm alive, honey. I know it. I feel it in my bones. So this is what I'm supposed to do.
Yes, I love that. I love that. That's great.
All right. Guys, thank you so much for having me.
Thank you. Well, Amy is not on our Wellness Alliance Partners on our app yet, but she is going to be.
Absolutely.
So you are going to be able to find her on there, and that's where you can watch this podcast. So if you have not downloaded our app yet, do so. Follow us on there. Follow us on YouTube. That's where you can watch the podcast. Make sure you're sharing it. Make sure you're following us, and check us out next time. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.